Hey everybody, Pat Flynn here, and welcome to a session about email marketing. One of the most important platforms that you could focus on right now, as everybody's talking about all these other platforms, the old tried and true method of connecting and communicating with people via email still holds the crown. And so we're going to talk about this today. And I want to share, in fact, by sharing a news article with you from the Wall Street Journal. I'm not going to share with you what year this was posted because I want you to guess. If you happen to be in the room with me live today, we have dozens and many, many more coming to watch this. But I just wanted to do this little thought experiment with you. What year do you think this was published? Now, if we go back to when email was sort of invented or created, we go back to, the 70s and 80s. The 90s is when we all started getting on AOL and Hotmail, Yahoo, and all those kinds of things. But this article actually came out in what year? 2019. So it had already been around for a couple decades, really, truly, until people started really catching on. Why is email still reigning supreme? DHH, who is one of the founders of Basecamp, he also said email is the next big thing. We're finally just realizing how precious these open standards were all along. Your way around Facebook and all the other walled garden parasites goes through email. He's very strong-worded about the algorithms and what gets shown to who. And even if you have subscribers on certain channels, they're not going to see your stuff. Email subscribers, if you do a good job of writing subject lines and can create something worth opening, they're going to see your email in their inbox along with every other person who's in there too. So we have to learn how to navigate that. Toby, who is the founder of Shopify, said email lists and websites are the only two things you can own on the internet. Everything else is just rented. And email is not obsolete. In fact, it is more effective than social media marketing. Trying to figure out an algorithm that's always changing is moot, which can feel tough. I don't know if any of you can relate to wanting to understand a particular platform. All of a sudden, it changes its algorithm or why it does or what it favors. And you're kind of left almost starting over again. I remember building Facebook pages and leaning into that pretty hard. And then all of a sudden realizing that, well, pages are no longer a thing. Groups are a thing. And then it's just like, it's hard to keep up all the time. But email is still here and will still continue to be here, which is why it's important to talk about. So here's what we know about email. You know you need an email list. We're going to help you build that a little bit today, and that's important. Here's what we don't know, however, and what I want to help for you. How to grow an email list, how to use an email list, and how to then automate an email list. A lot of people are going to teach you about email, and in general, they talk to you about how to grow an email list. But what's the point of growing it if you don't know how to use it? And especially how to automate it, how to take yourself out of the process so it's not a slog anymore, and it will start working for you. Again, welcome to everybody who is here live. We have two steps away, Ala, John, Kristen. We have Gonzo, a couple team members from Team SPI here as well. Thank you, Kelsey. We have Mike and Whisper and Hannah. Welcome, everybody, worldwide audience. Let's dive in. And here's the plan for today so you know what we're getting into. I'm going to teach you two strategies to grow your email list. One is going to be a more beginner strategy, one that's going to be good to sort of consider, even if you've done this for a while. Are you nailing the basics? That's number one. And then a second one that is more advanced. And even if you're just starting out, it's not too advanced and too out of your reach. It's just something to work toward. Second, a couple of powerful ways to use your email list. Now that you have a list, what do you do with it? And even if you only have a couple dozen people on your list, there's some really amazing things that you can do, strategies I want to share with you for free here today to that you can take home with and actually implement right away. Again, another beginner and another advanced. And then finally, a framework to just make a lot of this better in general, a way to approach everything from copywriting to, what do you send emails about, open rates, click-through rates going higher. That's what we want to say. That's what we want to see. So let's talk first about the growing your list part of this, right? If you don't have a list, then you can't really send any emails out. So let's talk about growing your list. Here's the secret. Here's the big secret about emails and the tough thing about it. Nobody wakes up and wants just more random emails in their inbox. Literally nobody, right? Nobody wants more emails. We want the results of what those emails can give us, however. If we know who we're subscribed to, we know the kinds of things they can unlock for us or the kinds of deals we can get or the kinds of information that we can't get anywhere else, those kinds of things, then, of course, we are more open to opening those emails. But nobody really wants more emails, just emails in general. So here's the hack. In order to help a person become a subscriber, you offer a lead magnet. So, what is a lead magnet? Especially for those of you who are just starting out, you might not know what that means. And why is it called a lead magnet? Well, a lead is somebody who is on your list who you could potentially lead into a sale. They might lead into becoming a customer or a movement that you're doing. Whatever it might be, it is a lead if they are on your list, right? Now, what is a magnet? A magnet is something that attracts somebody to something. So, we want to offer something that attracts more people. And initially, I did this in 2010 with an ebook called Ebooks the Smart Way. A little meta because it was an ebook about ebooks. But ebooks were just getting on the scene. I had written one to publish to architects that did very, very well, had made a couple thousand, $100,000 in a year. And I decided to write a book on how I crafted that after I learned how to do it. And this was, as you can see, 35 pages in length. We then rewrote it as the years went by, and it almost doubled in size, 72 pages in length. And this worked really, really well until it didn't. And the reason this stopped is not because all the people in the world who wanted to know this information finally found it. No, it stopped because people didn't have the time to go through 72 pages of stuff anymore. People started to value their time more than information. People started to realize that they want the results sooner rather than later. So lead magnets today that work really well are not the 72-page free books because, again, remember, information is available everywhere now. It's the right information for the right person at the right time. That's what's going to help you build a much stronger and faster growing email list. So let's talk about a few. I think I have 8 different kinds of lead magnets that you can create that are relevant to your audience. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. You can create a resource list or a tool list in the space that you're in. For example, if you happen to be in the Pokemon space, imagine a PDF file that was, here are the essentials that you need to start your collection journey, right? Here are the binders you need. Boom. Now you can include an affiliate marketing in there. Here are the sleeves you need, all handy links right in this PDF file. Here are the resources you can go to go buy your cards at TCG Player, whatever it might be. All easy, one sheet. That is valuable for a beginner. So you create that and it's of use to them. And again, hitting them at the right time with the right tool or resource and nothing more. A quick start guide, very similar, but if you happen to be somebody who talks about a particular tool or software, creating a quick start, almost like when you, I don't know if you've ever purchased something and, a new piece of electronic or something techie, and I don't read the whole guide, right? The whole pamphlet or handbook. I just read the one pamphlet that is the fold out quick start guide so I can just start using the thing. If you can create that for your people and whatever it is that you do or whatever they want to know about, then you're going to be much better off. A cheat sheet. This is one that's worked really well for us. And we call it a cheat sheet because, like the Game Genie back in the Nintendo days, it helps you get results faster, right? It helps you unlock things that maybe you couldn't unlock otherwise. And a cheat sheet is a great way to just sort of reference or frame whatever it is that you're doing. And we talk about a podcast cheat sheet here at SPI. And we offer people sort of a one-pager with checklists of all the things they need and how to get started, how to market your podcast, all in one sheet. And that has worked really, really well to collect more leads, for sure. Next, we have a checklist. Checklist, self-explanatory. A mini email course. This is great because you don't need to spend a lot of time to create the thing. You just have to write emails that get sent out after a person subscribes. And it doesn't matter if they subscribe today or if they subscribe 6 months from now. They'll still get the same emails after a certain period of time after the moment that they subscribe. So this could be a course to help them, again, unlock a certain skill or teach them something. I'll show you an example a little bit later today. But a mini email course, one that's not too heavy, one that can be done in 3 days, works extremely well. A sample chapter, if you have a book. I have a book upcoming actually next week. At the time of this recording, Lean Launching is actually, or Lean Launching, Lean Learning. Lean Launching might be that's actually a good title, Lean Launching. Only what you need to launch your next product. I'm going to make note of that. But Lean Learning is coming out next week and offering a sample chapter, something that we're going to be doing in the future to entice people to hopefully read the whole thing and then get involved in what we have to offer inside of the book. Number 7, templates and worksheets. Templates and worksheets always work well. Blank pages with prompts are amazing because they help people understand sort of where to put things and what to think about and create a framework around all that stuff. Templates and worksheets work extremely well, so well that many people actually sell them on places like Etsy. And then finally, any hidden bonus content. Maybe you have bonus podcast episodes that aren't a part of the normal feed, but people can get access to them if they join the email list. And it's almost like an exclusive club. if they join your list. That could be pretty neat. Chris Donnelly is somebody who does this very, very well. If you want to see his stuff on LinkedIn, he has now accumulated over 900,000 followers. I think it's over 1 million now on LinkedIn. And he's a speaker, author, investor. He has a newsletter that has now over 400,000 people just hearing his tips on time management and things like that. So somebody to follow who is doing this right, and that you could check out to see his lead magnets. His lead magnets work really, really well. So this is what we do when we're growing our list. We use a lead magnet to entice people to come and subscribe. So that is a way to, that is the beginner way to grow your list using a lead magnet. Now let's talk about the advanced way to grow your list. And this is what I like to call creating a challenge. Challenges are great because they're often limited in time. So we know they're only going to take an amount of time, but they always lead to something, right? They always lead to some outcome that a person may have wanted. In the world of entrepreneurship and online business, for the longest time, people had asked me, Pat, how do I grow my list? How do I grow my list? And we had the information. I shared it on podcast. I had PDF files. I had all the things. However, I knew that if we created a challenge around the idea of starting an email list, people would be more likely to do it because it feels more like an event. To go from 0 to 100 email subscribers in 3 days, if you go to 100emails.com, 100emails.com, you can see this in action. And what's really cool about this is people join, and it's already built out. You will get an email tomorrow on how to get started. You'll get an email the next day and the next day, 3 days, and you'll get to 100 emails. Now, some people don't get all the way to 100 because it's going to be different depending on how people take action and the results, but they're going to be further ahead than they would be normally. Some people have done this challenge and have gotten to 1,000 in 3 days, which is pretty crazy. But here's what happens on day 4. Yes, there is a day 4. Not only are we accumulating more email subscribers because they're joining this challenge, because it's, you can even create this as a live challenge. Hey, on September 12th, it happens. This challenge starts. It's going to run for 3 days. Come on in. Let's do this together. Sign up now so you get the first email on September 12th. A live challenge can work well too, and it brings a lot of people in a short period of time. But you can automate this too, just like I'm talking about here. This is why it's a little bit more advanced. But what happens on day 4? Day 4 is hey, now that you have 100 emails and you know that this is possible for you, here are your next steps. Come join us in the SPI community. We'll teach you how to take these email subscribers and turn them into customers. Or here is now the tool that you can use called Kit to house these emails and start to offer broadcasts and create autoresponders and build your business on top of. Here is our affiliate link for Kit, right? So day 4 becomes like a nice, well, here's what you do next. And these challenges work extremely well. Thank you, Bassam. Thank you, Carlos, Cardboard Collectibles. Amazing to have all of you here. Clinton, thank you so much for the kind words. Challenges work extremely well for growing your list in a more advanced level. It does just take a little bit more planning. But when you set a date and you say, here's what's going to happen and here's the outcome, notice also how the challenge is not 0 to 1,000. Notice how it's not 30 days. 0 to 100 in 3 days. We want a quick win or a quick result. So in your world, whatever world you are in, think about what might be a good 24-hour to 72-hour challenge that you could bring people along the ride for that unlocks something that could absolutely help them on their journey. Maybe if it's a weight loss program or something, maybe they're losing just 3 pounds in 3 days just to get a little bit of momentum to then want to go further with you on. Cool. So now let's talk about using your list. Thank you, Colossal Tennis. We talked about growing your list, a couple key strategies there. Now, everything that you're seeing here is sort of an open window into what we teach in our Email Marketing Magic course. We have an accelerator coming up starting off this Thursday and going for the next 5 weeks after that to help you unlock massive levels of growth in your email marketing and usage of your email lists. But I am sharing with you things that are a part of that course here for free so that you can take those home with you. And if you want to go further with us later, I'll tell you how to do that. So let's dive into now using your list in addition to now having first grown your list. So using your list. How do we use our list? Here's the beginner way to do it, and it's my all-time favorite way to use your list. You use your list not to broadcast, but what I like to say is you like to broad ask. Broad ask. That one's for you, Gonzo, because you like those dad jokes. So how does that work? Well, this is how you use your list. Inside of your email, use this question. Whether you send it out in real time to everybody or you have this baked into an automated email after they subscribe. Maybe it's the first one. Maybe it's the one that comes in a week or two after. But here's the question. What's your number one challenge related to blank? Your number one challenge related to blank. This question actually comes from, I have to give credit to where credit is due, Ryan Levesque, who is the author of the book Ask. This question changed our business and my life because I was able to then understand more about who was in my audience. What are the problems and challenges that my warm leads have so that I can create those solutions for them, whether that's blog posts, podcast episodes, or YouTube videos about them, or entirely made products and courses. What's your number one challenge related to blank? So inserting that into your autoresponder can be a great way to automate this because this is what happened when we implemented this. Every day, we would get people replying to this email. And yes, actually replying to these automated emails that you send out. You want that to happen. It does a couple of things. Number one, it whitelists your email so that every further email they get down the road, they're actually getting in their inbox versus their spam folder because they've replied. But secondly, you are hearing from them. You're getting a reply. You're hearing from their voice what they need help with. And you're seeing the language they use alongside that, which is important. It's one thing to know what their problems are. It's another thing to know how is your target audience describing their problems. It was really important for me when I got into the Pokemon space to understand the language so that I could speak on the same level as everybody. That was the first job I had. Because I had my own thoughts about things, but if they're not relatable, then people can't relate to you. So that's something to keep in mind. It's as simple as that. If this were easy, what would it look like? You would use your list to know what to help your audience with, what to serve them with. Now let's talk about a little bit more advanced level using your list. So I wanted to share with you the exact framework that we often use for some of our promotions. And this is inside of Email Marketing Magic. You can literally copy these templates. And here is the rundown. This is what I like to call the 5-day product launch email campaign. So let's say you had a product that you were just about to promote. How do you use your email list to promote it? You just send one email? No, that would be bad because people need multiple touch points, but you don't want to say the same thing every time. So here is a 5-day sequence that starts after a launch. There's likely emails prior to the launch, but this is what I would do if there was a 5-day sequence and after day 5, the cart was closing or the membership was going to close or the price was going to go up or the bonus goes away, whatever it might be to offer and inject that scarcity. Here is the way that I would do it. So first you want your launch email, right? This is important. It's the announcement. It's here, whatever it is. But what is it exactly? Who is this for? What's in it for them? Call to action. Hey, this is the SPI community. Inside of this community, you're going to find not only our dozens of courses that are available to you, but you're going to find people just like you inside of it. And this is for you if you're a growing entrepreneur and you want to speed run your results, right? And so all you have to do is click on this button and join the community. Join our accelerator, right? That is what a launch email is like. It's literally plain and simple. What is this thing? That's it. Next, for day 2, we want to talk about answering this question that is going to be on people's minds. Very common for anybody who you're selling to ask themselves this question. How do I know this is real? Day 2 is your proof email. Proof. So not proof as far as like, here are the stats, although stats can help, but numbers often scare a lot of people away. Proof as in, here is somebody who's gone through this process before, or I have gone through this process before, and this is how I found this solution. Or better yet, a story of somebody who's already gone through this solution. If you're creating a course, this is where a course student of yours who has been successful going through it and has experienced a transformation, this is where you talk about and tell that story, right? You're connecting on an emotional level. And you want to start there. A lot of people will make a decision not because it makes sense, but because they are emotionally driven to do so, right? That's where a lot of us make decisions. And sometimes those are good decisions. Sometimes they're bad. But I know that my Pokemon collection wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for a lot of the emotional decisions I was making, which in that case probably is not a good thing. But again, we're making sales here because we want to change people's lives, right? That's exactly what we want to do. Day 3, this is where you call out your subscribers who have not purchased yet. Because we haven't even gotten into the part where, hey, if people purchase on day 1, they're not even seeing these emails. You can set up your email service provider in that way, where if they're a customer, then they shouldn't be getting sales emails because they're already a customer, right? That's called automation. However, we're creating rules. Vincent's Pokemon Trade Up Journey says, amen. Day 3, call them out on their objections. So if a person's like, I don't know why I want to buy this. I don't know if this makes sense for me. Find out what's the story in their head. What fears or worries do they have? Tackle those worries head on. There was nobody better who I saw do this than Ramit Sethi from I Will Teach You to Be Rich. He calls you out on things on a sales page that like it feels like he's just talking to you. He has a very popular product about going in to get a raise from your job, right? How to get a raise at your job as an employee. And a lot of the objections come up that people think about, which is, well, I don't know what I'm going to say to my boss. So he'll basically, in his sales page or on these emails like this one, say, and hey, you probably are somebody who has no idea what to say to your boss because you don't have that experience or you're just a shy little cat. That's okay because I got you. Because in this course, I have a script for you and it's very easy to memorize. These 3 key phrases that you need. That is all you need to know to say to your boss to get that raise. Do you see how I found the objection or how he found the objection? And then you have the rebuttal or the thing that like supports it. You hopefully have the other side of it too, not just, I know what you're experiencing. I know what you're feeling. Like, for example, when I sold podcasting stuff, which we still do, it's inside of the course. If you want to learn how to podcast, it's one of the many courses you can get access to inside of the SPI community. But a lot of people objected starting a podcast saying, well, I'm not good on the microphone. I'm not a great communicator, so I'm probably going to be a terrible podcaster. So I call people out on that and I say, yeah, guess what? You are terrible because you haven't gotten started yet. In fact, a podcast is what will make you a better communicator. You see how I took that objection, flipped it, and turned it into a positive, right? Oh, the niche that I'm creating a podcast in is small. It's never going to do well. Oh, yeah? Well, here's a guy who is in our course. His name's Peter. He has one of the smallest niches. And guess what? He's making 6 figures a year doing it. You don't need a big audience, right? Take that objection, tackle it head on. That's what you do in day 3. This is now calling to those logical people who are illogically thinking about why they shouldn't buy something. Day 4, why do they need to act now? I said it before, I'll say it again. Scarcity is key. If a person doesn't have a reason to make a decision now, then why would they make a decision now when they can just keep their money, right? We need a reason for them to make a decision, even if it's a no. At least we're getting them to make a decision. That is our job as marketers, is to get people to make a decision. And if that decision is no, great. At least they had considered it and understood it enough to say, no, it's not for me. But if people do that, then the opposite is also true. People will understand it enough to say yes. It's when you get people saying, yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll pick it up later. You're never going to get them because there's no reason for them to purchase ever. You need a reason for them to purchase now. And that could be a deadline. That could be a price increase. That could be a bonus going away or a limited number of spots, whatever it might be. Amplify the problem, reiterate the scarcity. And then day 5, and trust me, when I share this, many people go, oh my gosh, this is way too many emails, Pat. Trust me, I thought the same thing until it worked. Until it worked. I got you, Allah. Day 5, in the morning, you send a small last chance email. Hey, today is going to be your last chance to get access to the SPI community before our accelerator starts. Here are some frequently asked questions people have wondered about the accelerator. How many weeks is it? It's 5 weeks. How much material am I going to have to go through each week? Well, we divide it evenly so that you don't have to go through too much each week, and then you get the homework done and you move on to the next, and you're doing this together with other people, blah, blah, blah. Whatever frequently asked questions that you're getting in these first few days, you pop in there just that way people who maybe they didn't even know they had that question or subconsciously had that question, you're answering it. And that's in the morning. Day 5 at noon, you send an email that has this subject line. I recorded this video just for you. Oh, such a good subject line. Now, does this mean you record a separate video for literally every individual person on your email list? No. Who did you record it for? Why? What is in this email? I'll show you in the next slide, or in 2 slides from now. So put a pin in that one. Day 5, with about 6 hours left in the day, a final call email. 2 sentences. Hey, this is literally the last email you're going to get about this. I just wanted to make sure you saw it. Last call to get access to this so that you can XYZ, right? Try to include the benefit in there. But very short. You've done enough selling. This is just literally the last chance. More than half. It bothers me every single time, but I'm also happy about it from a marketer's perspective. The last email there, every single campaign, the very last email, always has more than 50% of the sales. Everybody waits to the last minute. It like blows my mind every time how last minute these sales always happen, but it always is. It always is. So again, inside of Email Marketing Magic, you will see something like this, which is a template. We have several templates for different kinds of emails that you might send. As you can see on the left-hand side, this is our bank, our ABC bank, autoresponder, broadcast, and campaign bank. So the quick win. This is which one is this one? This is just an example. Again, you can just put your own. This is the example is a wedding photography business, but you can put yours in there. I'm one of those last minute. See, it's just human nature. It's not a fault. It's just a characteristic of us. So here's that day 5 noon email. I recorded it just for you. Again, that's the subject line. So here's what it entails. A video that, yes, you record, but you record it for the person who's not quite sure if this is for them. You make it personalized. You say you, not you guys, right? Make it as if it's for a single person. Make it short, 2 hours or less. Sorry, 2 minutes or less. Please do not make it 2 hours. You will lose people. 2 minutes or less. You can see this video here is 2 minutes and 8 seconds. I just recorded it on the fly. I made it raw. It doesn't need to be super produced. Just pull out your phone. That's it. Put it on YouTube unlisted so that people can go directly to it. And that's it. And this video, which, what do you say? Beardless Pat. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't stand. I don't know where my chin is. This looks so much more sophisticated, and I can shape it. I can hide it. Anyway, 2 hours. Holy cats. What do you say in this video? Just speak honestly to the person who's on the fence. That's all the guidance you need. What would you say to a person if they're like, Pat, I'm not quite sure if this is for me. What can you tell me that might help me make my decision? Just speak honestly. That's all I'm going to say. The more formulaic it is, the more it's not going to work. Just speak honestly to them. This email works really, really well. I've had people email me after purchasing a multi-$100 course say it was this video that made it feel like they were making a good decision. So keep that in mind. Cool. So we're going to move on. Actually, while we're here, just doing a quick little energy check with the audience. Little thumbs up emoji, little Diglett thumbs up emoji in the chat if you're still with me and you're enjoying this and you're getting some value out of here. Hopefully so. Again, I'm trying to make this easy for you. You might think that we're trying to go, that there might be some like super complicated, crazy strategies that create some like spider web looking version of a tactic. But no, I hate those things. I like things that are simple, that you can lean into and get better at more quickly. That is along the lines of my upcoming book, Lean Learning. But I just want to share with you that works. And so hopefully you're seeing how you can actually implement some of the stuff. Even if you pick up one thing from here, it will have been worth my time to do it for you. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about a framework to get better at everything from open rates, click-through rates, copywriting, automating, everything. And to set this up, I want to tell you a story. And I'm just going to warn you, Beardless Pat is back. There he is. And this is in Chicago. I was actually at the airport, and I asked a random stranger to take a picture of me in front of a Romano's Macaroni Grill. Can't even say it anymore. But why? Well, because I used to work in a Mama Romano's Macaroni Grill. I loved working as a waiter. I learned a lot of cool tricks, in fact. Tricks that would help me get more tips. And I learned very quickly because in the 2 weeks of education that they give you for training before you go out into the floor and start waitering or waiting on people, they tell you to go through this sort of pitch, right? You have your bottle of red wine with a couple glasses. You go up to the table and you make this pitch for the wine. It's the same bit every single time. And they forced you to do it. And I quickly found out after just a couple weeks in the work, like working on the floor, that like I would get people who would be like, okay, I don't need the wine pitch. Just what are the specials today? They would like lead with that. right? Because they would see me coming up with the wine and the glasses, and they're like, we don't need that. I eventually found that if people had been to Romano's Macaroni Grill before, that I didn't need to do that pitch. Um, Many people who wanted the wine would just ask for it anyway. But if they were new, then I would give them the pitch because it kind of set the tone. I could tell the story a little bit about Mama Romano and all those kinds of things, right? So I learned that if people had been there before, I do one thing. And if people hadn't been there before, I do another thing. I learned this acronym right here. If you know what this means, let me know in the chat. It's a very important acronym, and that is for if this, then that. If they're new, then I'll give them the pitch. If they are not new, then I won't give them the pitch and not upset them when they didn't ask for something that they know they didn't want already. And I had a problem with my email list when I was growing it. I treated everyone on the list the same. Everyone on the list. They all got all of the same emails. So imagine a person who becomes a newsletter subscriber or an email subscriber, and they're a beginner. But I start talking and sending emails about some advanced SEO strategies because I know I have some advanced people on my list. How's that going to make the beginner feel? It's going to make them feel like they are not in the right place, like they don't know enough and perhaps might look for somebody else to learn from, right? Imagine a advanced person getting an email that's more toward for beginners. It's like, hey, if you don't know what topic to create your business about yet, I got some news for you. Here, read this email. If somebody's already in the thick of their business and know exactly what they're doing, they just need tips on other things. How is that going to email ring for them? Not very well. The problem was, again, I was not doing if this and that. I was doing, well, if they're on my email list, then they're getting this email. I had about a 20% open rate. So that means 1 out of every 5 people who received my email opened it, and about 3.5 people out of every 100 opened or actually clicked on the links. So out of 130,000 people, that's not too great. 20% was okay, but click-through rate could have been higher. Then I changed up my strategy. I started to implement if this, then that strategies, and the numbers changed. I had a 65% open rate and an 8.5% click-through rate. Huge, absolutely huge differences in numbers from the same email list. I just simply was able to understand who should get what emails. And this was then grown to about 200,000 emails. So this is a quote that sums it up perfectly from Michael Croft. He says, the idea of dividing a market, so your audience, into homogeneous segments and targeting each with a distinct product and or message is now at the heart of marketing theory. Don't treat all your leads the same. This is the framework. Don't treat all your leads the same. And so here is how you do this. If you already have an email list, or even if you don't, you could follow these steps. What's the biggest challenge you have related to blank? And we already talked about this as the number one strategy for a beginner to understand more about their audience when it comes to using your list. And again, this was from Ask, another beardless Pat up close. I do not like it, but I couldn't find my Ask book. I think I lent it to somebody, which is why I went back to this older picture. Anyway, step 1 was to ask my audience. This is what we did when we made this transition from everybody in the same bucket to different buckets. I asked the audience, what's your number one biggest challenge related to online business? So I got some answers back. And I was able to see that they were actually kind of, you could put them into different groups or patterns. One group said these kinds of things. I'm overwhelmed from all the information available to me. I don't know where to start. I'm afraid of wasting my time and money, and I'm not sure what kind of business I'd like to create. The fear of failure is stopping me from moving forward. These people we put into what we call bucket 1. They didn't have an online business yet, but they had the itch to get started. They read and listened to a lot of content. That was the pattern that we learned about this particular group of people. They consumed so much. That was bucket number 1. Then we noticed a second grouping of answers for this question. I'm fearful I'm wasting my time. I'm trying to do too many things at the same time. I'm not seeing the results I expected yet. I don't know what my next steps should be. These were people who already had an online business, but they weren't generating very much revenue. And they had what I like to call superhero syndrome. That is, they were doing everything in their business themselves. They were afraid to hand things off to others. They wanted to do it all. What's up, Doc? Good to see you. This was bucket number 2. And everybody else we put into bucket number 3, the people who had an existing business, they were generating revenue, they just had more advanced things to worry about. Bucket 1, bucket 2, and bucket 3. So this made it so easy for us to then start to send emails that were tailored right for them. And this is when we implemented self-segmentation. We allowed the audience to divide themselves into that themselves, right? The main list that we had, we put them into different buckets. How? Well, we sent an email to our entire list. And in that email, there were 3 choices that aligned with these 3 different buckets. So here is that email here. I'll read bits and pieces of it for you. But the main part is here. Which of the following best describes your online business activity? Click the one answer that best describes you. This is within the email that, again, we sent to everybody. Number 1, I don't have a business yet. Number 2, I have a business, but I'm stuck. Number 3, I have a business that's generating more than $500 per month. And what happens is in the email provider that we use, Kit, and many email providers can do this now too, is it will then put them into that bucket. It will tag them. It will actually tag them in the back end, not like tag them in the back end. That sounds bad. I don't want to tag in nobody in the back end. I'm sorry. It will, in the system, mark them as within that bucket so that when we send an email, let's say we're sending an email just to the beginners, we can say, okay, let's just only send this email to bucket 1 because these are people who are literally getting started. They don't even know what their business is yet. Here's a resource I have for that. Bucket 2 and bucket 3, we don't even need to worry about them right now. They're not going to receive this email. Or I'm starting to talk about hiring a team and scaling your agency. Cool. Well, let me just send it to bucket number 3 because bucket 1 and 2 aren't quite ready for that yet. And now people aren't getting emails that aren't even matterful to them. They're getting emails that every email seems to be just right up their alley. And that's the cool part about this. You can actually now deliver unique content to these people. So for example, remember bucket 1, no business yet in our world. Here is the first email they get. Remember, this is somebody who's just starting out in business. Look at the email subject line. Future entrepreneurs, read this, right? I wouldn't say that to a bucket 2 or 3 person, but I'm going to say that to somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, and I know they are because they self-segmented into here, or they maybe downloaded a guide that was just for beginners, or joined my newbie newsletter, whatever it might be. Now check this out. Future entrepreneurs, read this. And look at these bullet points. Quick question. Do any of the following statements reflect where you are right now with your desire to create an online passive income business? I'm overwhelmed from all the information available to me. The fear of failure is stopping me from moving forward. I don't know where to start. I'm not sure what kind of business I'd like to create. I'm afraid of wasting my time and money. Where have we seen that? Oh, yeah. It was literally the answers we just got back from our audience when we asked them this question. I'm just regurgitating word for word what my audience has already told me. And this now connects me with my new audience in a fast-forwarded manner. For example, Lourdes here, who replied to this email that I sent, the Dear Future Entrepreneurs email, and said this, Pat, I feel like you are in my head. I'm thinking every single one of those thoughts constantly. What are the chances that Lourdes is going to open the next emails that I send or take my recommendation or, in fact, even maybe one day be a customer? Jacqueline says, hello, Pat. Wow, all of those statements and more definitely describe how I feel about the prospect of starting any kind of online business. Nailed it. Essian says, hey, Pat, I've never met someone who has so vividly described me when it comes to online business like you have just done. Do you see how this works? I'm just literally using the answers I got to show everybody else that I know exactly where they're at. Will It Fly is a book. My second published book. This was published in 2015. And this book has a subtitle, How to Test Your Next Business Idea So You Don't Waste Your Time and Money. And I thought it was just cool that this pilot for the military ended up taking Will It Fly on a plane with him. I thought that was kind of cool. You can see like a missile literally there in the back left. Anyway, where do you think the subject line for this book came from? Literally the same answers. We need to stop guessing when it comes to marketing. And you need to start researching a little bit. And it doesn't take much. It could just be as simple as that one single question. What's the number one part of business you need help with? More recently, we've been getting a lot of answers like this. I need help with email marketing. I need help growing my list. I need help getting my email marketing where it should be. How to sell to my email list without upsetting people. I want my emails to just work like it does for everyone else. Well, if that's the case, then you are in the right spot. Because I want to ask you, what's the number one item that you learned on today's training? Let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear which one of these strategies or thoughts or thought-provoking ideas came across as useful to you. And email marketing, even though it is archaic in technology, there are still improvements being made. There are ways to generate more subscribers than ever now. There are ways to connect even more deeply. And in this world, we're now on AI. It's very AI heavy. Social media is full of bots. I mean, 50% of it of social media are just like basically bots. It seems it's getting harder and harder to connect. And so a lot of people are going back to email to be the connector for them and their audience, to build a relationship, to learn about who your audience is, and to then serve them from there, right? Suit your emails to what they say, not what you imagine in your mind. Exactly, Hannah. I love it. Keep it simple. Absolutely. Segmented emails. Ooh, sneaky Pat. I see what you did there. LOL. Nice. People wait until the very end to buy. Very true. Your 5-day email list just gives me lots of ideas. I love that, Vincent. That's great. Ask questions of your avatar to determine what to build. Always great to be reminded to answer people's actual questions in your content. Bucket theory relates to a post I made today about my project in Pokemon Evolution. Nice. So I also wanted to ask you something because I mentioned this earlier. We have an accelerator for email marketing coming up. And if you would be interested in checking it out, I'd love to share a little bit more. So may I have your permission to share a little bit more about this thing I talked about earlier and the upcoming email marketing accelerator for Email Marketing Magic? An accelerator is a group of people going through that course together along with an instructor to guide you and hold you accountable along the way. And you'll see some incredible results from people who have done this before. And it's just one of our most popular accelerators because it actually is one that relates to something that is sometimes quite boring to do on your own. So if you need some support and guidance, let's go, says Doc. All right. Thank you, everybody. So this course is called Email Marketing Magic. It was actually created in 2018, and it's been updated to continue to be relevant over time, where you grow your list, make more money, and automate like magic. This is where you start to use a lot of the tools that we now have to remove yourself from the process. And it's available in our accelerator tier. It's also available in our starter tier, but we also have the accelerator coming up very soon. So the Email Marketing Magic Accelerator kickoff is this Thursday. So if you sign up now for the accelerator tier, you get access to this class and cohort of students going through this course together. You will be, I think, the fourth time I think we've gone through this. And it just gets better and better every single time. The group of people who go through this will not only finish the course, but they also get the results, right? We want to grow your list faster with better leads. We want to convert those leads into sales for products that you have or will eventually have and automate the entire process. Kelsey here in the chat also put the link up already if you want to sneak ahead and get into that. However, just know that this course has been recently fully refilmed and updated with what's working today and a lot of Kit's new branding. They were recently known as ConvertKit, but it is Kit, and they're awesome. And this course used to be sold individually for $499, which is crazy. But people bought it and they got results. But that was just a one-time payment. Now, we've lowered the barrier to entry because now inside of the SPI community, you can get access to this for just a very small, relatively speaking, monthly or quarterly payment. In fact, we don't do monthly, but quarterly because we want you to stick around and get even more value from this as well. And if you want to join the accelerator that's coming up this Thursday, join the Accelerate tier because here's what happens. You get access to all of our courses and workshops, more than a dozen. You get access to an active community of other like-minded entrepreneurs just like you. You get access to my team and myself even in office hours that happen every single week or every other week for the Accelerate tier, every week for the Thrive tier, in fact. Guided pathways through our various courses. So you're not just like, hey, here's all our courses, good luck. But we can guide you through them. Hey, you're here now in your business? Well, then you seem to be ready for a podcast. So here, go take our podcast course or our YouTube course. We're also going to be working on a shorts course later in the year, I believe. You might be the first to know about that. But that's been in high demand, and that'll just be included inside of the membership. And accelerators, like I said, are classes of people that go through a particular course together, and the Email Marketing Magic one starts this coming Thursday. And the cool thing is people who participate in the accelerators are nearly 3 times more likely to succeed, which is awesome. So just go there now. smartpassiveincome.com/EMM. People have gotten a lot of value from it. You can see a lot of the courses that are in there as well. A webinar course, podcasting, YouTube, a online course, our email magic course, of course, and affiliate marketing. These courses, like I said, were hundreds of dollars each, but they're now available just on their own inside of the Start, Accelerate, or Thrive tiers. And if you come in by Thursday, you'll be able to get access to that accelerator to go along with the instructor as well as the other students going through it with you. And I'll check in with you partway through as well and make sure that you're getting that value. And like I said, people do love the SPI community. There's a lot of people in the SPI community here watching live right now, and that is awesome. And I hope that you'll become a part of it as well. We've built it to become the premier place to learn because you can't just learn on your own. You have to learn together. Come join the accelerator tier right now. So thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming in today. And I hope this gives you something to at least think about. You also, as Kelsey says here in the chat, inside of the Accelerate tier, you also get access to mastermind matching, connecting with people. We will help you with that and find a group of people, a smaller group of people within this larger whole to work together with, which is awesome. And yeah, email marketing, it's so boring on the surface. But once you dive in and understand how it works and how we can teach you, it becomes something that can unlock a lot more revenue in your business. It could actually be fun. We have a lot of fun with it. We build a lot of cool automations and systems so that the thing is working for us and we're no longer working on it. It's working for us. Robert says, as someone who's done an accelerator in the past, they are so good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Somebody says, I've been trying to tell my friend who dropped an ebook that it's not how to sell things anymore. He should just give away a small freeware version of it and put it in a funnel first. Yeah, unless the topic is so new and different, then selling an ebook, just more information, is not going to cut it. Sharing a sample of it or even building a relationship with people in some other way beforehand, maybe a newsletter, perhaps by podcasting, YouTube, then people are going to be more open to this thing that you have to offer. But just if people don't know who you are, they're not buying information from you. Let me say that one more time. If people don't know who you are, they are not buying information from you. But experiences matter. And this is why the accelerator works so well, because it's not just information. It's information wrapped in an experience to help you throughout the way. It's community-powered courses, if you will. Paul says, Pat, doesn't SMS marketing work as well as email, or do anything make them work each? So SMS or text messaging is very powerful. It has a much higher, quote-unquote, open rate because everybody who gets a text message typically checks them, right? But it's so much easier to get an unsubscribe because people are very, very much more protective of their phone number than their email list. So you got to be very, very careful about the way that you promote on email. Email can be great for especially things like if they sign up for a webinar, it reminds them about the webinar that's about to start. I love using SMS in that way. Using SMS to constantly promote something over and over and over again can get old real, real fast. True, AI cannot provide experiences. Agreed. Kathy says, I hate SMS spam. Yeah, the worst thing now is literal phone call spams. Like, who's, number one, opening those phone calls anymore? But secondly, like, why? Like, who's teaching this? I have no idea. The podcast accelerator was key to helping me get podcasts started and continuing. Nice, Kathy. Appreciate you. Hey, Pat, hope all is well. Really enjoyed your YouTube secrets video a few weeks ago. It's a great watch and found some help tips. Want to say thank you. You're welcome, Harry Snorlax. Appreciate you. Does SPI also help with the process of trademarking and other things some may forget when starting something? We have a lot of conversations about all those kinds of things, Gonzo. I appreciate the question. We don't have like a course on that because, number one, it's not something you need to worry about right in the get-go. And we want to help, especially those who are just starting out, remove as much friction as possible to get started. I got my trademark for my first business at the end of 2008 when I started it in the middle of 2008, once I knew it had some legs and it was going. And it could be very costly as well. That is to say, there are some things that you can do to help protect yourself from first use cases or fair use kinds of things in the world of trademarks and patents and those kinds of things. 2 steps away. Thank you, Pat Flynn. Great presentation. Appreciate all you shared coming from someone who's also an architect. That's amazing. I love meeting other architects because we have a common language that only we understand, from Architecture Studio to AutoCAD and all of the above. I don't know what my business is yet. Should I join at Start first? You can. No matter which tier you get in, there are courses to literally help you select your niche. Yes, that is a very important part of it. And it's not about picking the right one right from the start. It's understanding a combination of who you are, what you could provide, the things that you are interested in with communities and groups of people who have needs and need support, and how you can find the sort of overlap. Harry Snorlax, thank you so much for gifting memberships here. We're not even on DPM. We are on SPI right now. And thank you for that. That's going to be really kind. And you've gifted it to, look at that. You gifted yourself a membership. I didn't know that was possible. Chef, Nicholas, Frog Pirates, and Robert all got a gifted membership from Harry Snorlax. So thank you, Harry Snorlax. I didn't know you can gift yourself one. Start is perfect if you're just looking for information. Accelerate will give you more accountability and support. Yes. All right, everybody. Not too many questions coming in. So all I need you to do is go to this link right here. You could read more about the community and what we have to offer you there. So smartpassiveincome.com/EMM. The kickoff. We're not doing any work this week, but the kickoff call where you get to meet your instructor and go through a lot of the what's going to happen process is going to happen on Thursday. And then the accelerator starts next week, where you'll get just snippets of the course each week. And then you don't have to worry about the rest, just like we've got it down to a science on which lessons you'll need to watch in which weeks, so that by the end of this, not only you're making progress, but you're getting results too. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate you for that. Too bad I can't sign your Audible account. Maybe I could sign your ear. Maybe? No, that's weird. Anyway, thank you all so much for the support. Kelsey, drop the link one more time. This was amazing. Great crowd today. Great questions. And I look forward to seeing you in the accelerator and inside of our community. Thank you so much. smartpassiveincome.com/EMM. Take care, everybody. Oh, whoa. Have a great day. And I'll see some of you on a live stream a little bit later on the Pokemon side of things. But until then, peace out, everybody. Thank you again. This was awesome. See you in the community.